Are the Toronto Maple Leafs on the verge of a game-changing trade? With injuries piling up and players stepping up unexpectedly, fans are left wondering what GM Brad Treliving has up his sleeve. Speculation is brewing around a veteran presence that could bolster the roster, but will it happen before the end of the year? Stick around to find out what's next for our beloved Leafs, and don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up to stay in the loop on all things Toronto Maple Leafs. As the Toronto Maple Leafs navigate through a challenging season filled with injuries, it seems that General Manager Brad Treliving is actively looking for ways to bolster the team's forward group. With key players like David Kampf, Kalle Jarnkrok, Max Pacioretty, Austin Matthews, and Bobby McMann sidelined, not to mention Ryan Reeves facing a 5-game suspension, the depth of our lineup is being severely tested. This situation has opened up unexpected opportunities for younger players such as Nikita Grebenkin, Alex Steeves, Alex Nylander, and Fraser Minten to showcase their talents. While Alex Nylander's stint with the Leafs hasn't exactly been stellar, Grebenkin, who avoided waivers, has been a bright spot, and Minten has excelled despite being thrust into NHL action earlier than anticipated. Now, according to Nhl Insader Dave Pagnotta from the fourth period, we have a timeline regarding potential trades. With a roster freeze set to begin on December 20th at midnight local time and lasting until December 28th, it appears that significant moves are unlikely before the new year. Pagnotta mentions that while a deal for a veteran defenseman isn't considered imminent, the Leafs are diligently exploring the market and compiling a list of potential targets for later in the season. One name that keeps popping up in connection with the Leafs is Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders. With the Islanders struggling, and former Leafs GM Lou Lamoriello at the helm, it wouldn't be surprising to see the Leafs make a play for the 33-year-old pending UFA. However, as it stands, the team seems content to rely on rookie Fraser Minten and the available players as a stopgap solution until they find the right fit. So, where does this leave us as fans? I find myself torn. On one hand, it's encouraging that Treliving is actively seeking improvements. But on the other hand, the prospect of waiting until after the roster freeze for any significant moves can be frustrating. Will we see a shakeup that truly elevates this team, or will we continue to patch things up with the current roster? You have to wonder how these decisions impact our chances in the playoffs. Are we really in a position to compete with the best in the league if we're relying on unproven players in critical roles? It's a gamble, and I can't help but feel a mix of hope and anxiety. And what about the emotional toll this takes on us as fans? We invest so much into this team, and every decision made by management has the potential to shape the future of the franchise. It's not just about the present season, it's about the legacy we're building. So, what do you think? Are you on board with this strategy, or do you feel it's time for a bolder approach? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop your opinions in the comments below. As we dive into the latest buzz surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs, I can't help but reflect on John Tavares. He's been a lightning rod for discussion lately, and I think it's crucial we take a moment to reassess his impact on this team. When Tavares signed that hefty 7-year, $77 million contract back in 2018, the excitement was palpable. Many of us believed this was the signing that would finally bring the cup back to Toronto. But fast forward to now, and the reality has been a bit different. Sure, we've had some solid regular seasons, but just one playoff series win? That's a tough pill to swallow for us fans. It's no wonder Tavares has faced his fair share of criticism. Some argue that his contract was a miscalculation by former GM Kyle Dubas, and as a result, Tavares' stock has dropped significantly in the eyes of many. But let's not forget who we're talking about here. Before joining the Leafs, Tavares was a superstar with the New York Islanders. He carried that franchise on his back, racking up impressive stats and leading the team in scoring multiple times. In his first season with Toronto, he lit it up with 47 goals and 88 points. Even now, he's still producing at a high level, with 15 goals and 28 points in just 30 games this season. Over his time with the Leafs, he's been nearly a point-per-game player. Yet, there are whispers that he's slowing down as he hits 34. I mean, really? Between the 2021-22 and 2023-24 seasons, he's netted 221 points in 239 games. Sure, last year's 65 points felt underwhelming by his standards, but this season, with 23 points at even strength, he's right up there behind Mitch Marner. Now here's where it gets perplexing. Tavares wasn't even named to Team Canada for the upcoming Four Nations face-off. How does a player consistently putting up these numbers get overlooked? It's baffling, especially when you consider his playoff struggles. Yes, he only has 24 points in 38 postseason games since joining Toronto. But let's be real, he's not the only one from this team who has struggled when the stakes are high. So what does this all mean for Tavares? It's true that people are quick to label him as overpaid. His contract suggests he should be among the league's elite scorers every season, which he hasn't quite been. But I think it's unfair to pin that solely on him. If we look past the salary and focus on what he brings to the ice, it's clear. He's still a top-tier player in the NHL. His production hasn't faltered much since that big signing. The backlash against him seems disproportionate, given that he continues to perform at a high level. If you strip away the dollar signs and just analyze the stats, it's hard to ignore that he has been a tremendous asset for the Leafs. I genuinely believe that he's one of the most underrated talents in the league today. So, what's the takeaway here? Are we being too harsh on John Tavares? I'm torn. On one hand, I understand the frustrations rooted in our playoff performances. On the other hand, the numbers don't lie. He's still delivering, and as a die-hard fan, I can't help but wonder what the future holds for him and for the Maple Leafs. And you, what do you think? Are you in Tavares' corner, or do you believe it's time for a change? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions matter, and they contribute to the conversation we're having as fans. So if you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates on the Maple Leafs. And make sure to activate that notification bell so you don't miss a single moment of the action. Let's keep this discussion going, and as always, go Leafs go!